This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1028, Practice the Stoic Art of Negative Visualization by Ryan Holiday of ryanholiday.net. And I'm Justin Malik, your very own personal narrator. I read to you from some of the best blogs in the world, and today is no exception. Ryan Holiday is a popular writer. He writes frequently about Stoicism and actually narrates his daily Stoic email meditations. So to hear him, you can check out the Daily Stoic podcast. And before we get to it, thank you to Simple Contacts for their support. Simple Contacts is the most convenient way to renew your contact lens prescription and reorder your brand of contacts from anywhere in minutes. This isn't a replacement for your periodic full eye health exam, but a super simple way to renew or use your current prescription to order more contacts. Try it for yourself. I did, and I'll tell you more about that later. And save $20 off your first order of contacts at simplecontacts.com/old20 or enter the code OLD20 at checkout. Now I'm excited to read this article, so let's get right to it and continue optimizing your life. Practice the Stoic Art of Negative Visualization by Ryan Holiday of ryanholiday.net. A CEO calls her staff into the conference room on the eve of the launch of a major new initiative. They file in and take their seats around the table. She calls the meeting to attention and begins, "I have bad news. The project has failed spectacularly. What went wrong?" The team is perplexed. "What? But we haven't even launched yet." I know it seems strange and maybe even counterproductive to demand that employees think negatively instead of optimistically, but in business circles today, everyone from startups to Fortune 500 companies and the Harvard Business Review are doing this exact exercise. In a direct response to optimistic, feel-good thinking, these leaders are encouraging their employees to think negatively. The technique that the CEO was using was designed by psychologist Gary Klein. It's called a pre-mortem. In a pre-mortem, a project manager must envision what could go wrong, what will go wrong, in advance before starting. Why? Far too many ambitious undertakings fail for preventable reasons. Far too many people don't have a backup plan because they refuse to consider that something might not go exactly as they wish. In fact, I think more companies need a chief dissent officer, someone to shoot down the bad ideas that are blind spots and naive optimism too often obscure. They can catch us when we are puffed up with visions of our own greatness and preordained success. Remember Netflix's aborted attempt to split into two separate companies? Or when Google Wave was marketed as the next Gmail, only to be shut down in a little over a year? If only these great companies had stopped to envision the possible travails that awaited them, they might have been able to prevent them. No one has ever understood this better than former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson, who, reflecting on the collapse of his fortune and fame, told a reporter, "If you're not humble, life will visit humbleness upon you." The practice goes back much further than just psychology, though. It dates back many thousands of years, in fact, to the great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. And they had an even better name for it, premeditatio malorum, premeditation of evils. A writer like Seneca would begin by reviewing or rehearsing his plans, say to take a trip, and then in his head or in writing, he would go over the things that could go wrong or prevent it from happening. A storm could arise, the captain could fall ill, the ship could be attacked by pirates. "Nothing happens to the wise man against his expectation," he wrote to a friend. Quote, "Nor do all things turn out for him as he wished, but as he reckoned. And above all, he reckoned that something could block his plans." End quote. By doing this exercise, Seneca was always prepared for disruption and always working that disruption into his plans. He was fitted for defeat or victory. And let's be honest, a pleasant surprise is a lot better than an unpleasant one. In a case where nothing could be done, the Stoics would use it as an important practice to do something the rest of us too often fail to do, manage expectations. Because sometimes the only answer to what if is, it will suck, but we'll be okay. We often learn the hard way that our world is ruled by external factors. We don't always get what is rightfully ours, even if we've earned it. Not everything is as clean and straightforward as the games they play in business school. Psychologically, we must prepare ourselves for this to happen. If it comes as a constant surprise each and every time something unexpected occurs, you're not only going to be miserable whenever you attempt something big, you're going to have a much harder time accepting it and moving on to attempts 2, 3, and 4. The only guarantee ever is that things could go wrong. The only thing we can use to mitigate this is anticipation, because the only variable we control completely is ourselves. The world might call you a pessimist. Who cares? It's far better to seem like a downer than to be blindsided or caught off guard. If we have prepared ourselves for the obstacles that are inevitably on their way, we can rest assured that it's other people who have not. In other words, this bad luck is actually a chance for us to make up some time. We become like runners who train on hills or at altitude so they can beat racers who expected the course would be flat. Anticipation doesn't magically make things easier, of course, but we are more prepared for them to be as hard as they need to be, as hard as they actually are. You know what's better than building things up in your imagination? Building things up in real life. Of course, it's a lot more fun to build things up in your imagination than it is to tear them down. But what purpose does that serve? It only sets you up for disappointment. Chimeras are like bandages. They hurt when torn away. With anticipation, we have time to raise defenses or even avoid them entirely. We're ready to be driven off course because we plotted a way back. We can resist going to pieces if things didn't go as planned. With anticipation, we can endure. We are prepared for failure and ready for success. You just listened to the post titled, Practice the Stoic Art of Negative Visualization by Ryan Holiday of ryanholiday.net. That's an interesting one. I haven't heard that perspective before. If you're interested in Stoicism, you can hear Ryan narrate his Daily Stoic Meditations email. Just search for the Daily Stoic podcast to listen to that. And I have to tell you, I got my contact lens prescription renewed in under 5 minutes using Simple Contacts. Simple Contacts lets you renew your prescription and reorder your favorite brand of lenses from anywhere in minutes through an online vision test. It's designed by doctors, and every test is reviewed by a doctor, so they're basically bringing the doctor's office to your home. That's a great way to save money and not have to pay for an office visit. I tried it. I thought it'd be a little complicated, but it's not at all. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's pretty awesome. And you don't even have to do the vision test if you have an active prescription. You can send your prescription to them or even your doctor's info, and they'll use that to get your contacts. And the contact lens prices are unbeatable. The vision test is only $20 and shipping is free. On top of that, you get $20 off your first Simple Contacts order with the promo code OLD20. Go to simplecontacts.com/OLD20 or enter the code OLD20 at checkout. Now, this isn't a replacement for your periodic full eye health exam. You still need those, but it's the most convenient way to renew a prescription and reorder your contacts if your vision hasn't changed. Again, that's $20 off at simplecontacts.com/OLD20 or just enter OLD20 at checkout. But I'll leave it there for today. I hope you're having a great Thursday, getting close to the end of the week, and I'll see you tomorrow with a post from Tiny Buddha, and where your optimal life awaits.